You're bowing down to them. You're letting them beat the shit out of you. But you got to make those demons work for you. And when those demons know that they're working for you, now you're the mother effing archangel demon of them. You're the boss. You tell them the way it goes, and I agree with that statement. You're always going to have demons. But at what point do you say, these guys are going to work for me now? I'm your boss. I call the spade a spade, not you, So that's, we're going to finish with this. It just says, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me and to do with me as thou wilt. To build with me and to do with thou wilt. Relieve me from the bondage of self, that I may better do thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of the power. We thought well before taking this step, making sure we were ready, that we could at last abandon ourselves utterly to God. And you know what? Amen to that. We're going to move on now, and today we're going to have a little bit of a talk about further on Tiger Woods. Okay, go back to Tiger Woods here. I was watching Bill Burr. He was doing an interview with Billy Corgan. Howie Mandel set it up, and here they are. They kind of look alike, Billy Corgan. I love Billy Corgan. Back in 1995, when they introduced Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness double disc, I had that as soon as it come out. And, you might think like Disarm is one of the best songs. You might think 1979 is one of the best songs. I think the best song is Lily. Lily, my one and only. That song, it's such a great song. But that whole double disc is amazing. So I love Billy Corgan. I love what he stands for. I love his lyrics. He's seen addiction firsthand. His drummer in the late 90s died of a heroin overdose. You know how much that had to affect Billy and his whole Smashing Pumpkins. For a while there, they weren't even touring. Think about the life of a rock star. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, because I wouldn't wish it upon me. You got $10 million in the bank. You're constantly having to put on a facade that you are always into your play, your role play, as far as, putting on the production and singing your songs. Of course, that's going to take some type of fuel. And if you don't have it spiritually and you're on the road doing these rock concerts, well, guess what? Addiction's going to take over. It's going to have to, because you know what? You're wearing yourself down. And shoot, man, I got a lot of respect for the Rolling Stones and, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC. These guys went on and on and on and on, and they obviously made the demons work for them, going back to that statement. So, I don't know. It's like Al Pacino always said, you only start learning that. You only start learning stuff in life is when you start losing stuff, You find out life's like a game of inches. 1 inch too slow, 1 inch too fast, you don't quite make it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break in the game, every moment, every second. And on this team, we fight for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's going to make the difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. One of my favorite speeches ever, the Inches speech. It's unbelievable. As I move forward today, I have I'll let you know how today's meeting goes. I go to a noon meeting. I start up a big shutdown coming up, and I'm excited about that. But for the next 14 days, I've just been preparing myself for, one, reviewing legislation for occupational health and safety. That's my, I do it probably a quarter of the year. I work as a health and safety advisor on a big facility, oil facility, where we're building different components, or where we're making an outage and fixing different components. Getting in there with new equipment, vessel cleaning, channel head repair, inter-pipeline work inside a facility, that type of work, and I take a lot of joy in it. But like anything, you need to be prepared. You need to make sure that, hey, I got a plan. I know what my company's plan is and procedures, because in my line of work, you work for a couple different companies every year. So every company's going to have different idiosyncrasies within their safety program. And you need to ensure that you got your finger on the pulse of the company, what rules they follow, and what's inside their procedures. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I'll let you know how my meeting went. And today I'm just going to share about I get 3 minutes on the clock usually at these AA meetings, and I love it because I'm able to just speak my mind, and I never feel a sense of judgment inside an AA room ever. I mean, if you were to start swearing, being racist, and talking about glorification about how awesome your last bender was, I mean, people would be like, man, you need to shut the fuck up, get out of here, get the fuck out of here, but no, for the most part, people don't do that. The odd time people will come into the program, and you always think about that first time when you got drunk, that first time you got high, that first time you went to an after hours rave bar, that first time that you dropped some MDMA. Everything was so perfect, and everybody's always chasing that fucking, chasing the dragon, as they call it. So sometimes when you get new people come into the AA, they're really focused on glorification, romanticization, romancing the situation, giving glory to it, and yeah, we probably had some good times at some point in our life with drugs and alcohol, but at the end of the day, I think my favorite coin phrase is play the tape forward, right? So if you were to watch a chain of events of a couple days from, say, you started out on a Friday, you were having a good time for like 3 hours, and then things just fucking come unraveled. You lose your car, you get thrown in jail, maybe some woman almost kills you. There's multiple different types of avenues a story can go, and usually it's for the worse when it comes to drugs and alcohol. So I just want to encourage everybody, do not drift into worry, self-pity, self-despair, and maybe the biggest one is morbid reflections. Just because you went down a bad path, don't let that define you. Our past deserves but just a glance. It doesn't deserve our whole focus, because you know what? Today, not going to have a drink, right? Just for today, man. So I encourage everybody to have a good one, and don't be hating on Tiger Woods so much, because he has raised a lot of money for charity. He has done a lot of things. He is a good father to his son and daughter from, all accounts. He's never been charged for any domestic violence, Yeah, he screwed a lot of hookers, that's for sure. But I mean, he's had a couple car accidents, but he ain't perfect. But he's done a lot. He's done a lot for charities and the game of golf. Like, he's the boss of the golf for the past 30 years. Think about it, since he came to start playing in 1997, 98. With that, I'm going to wish you guys a fair adieu and have a good day on March the 29th, 2026. All right, over and out.